right before the initial Switch announcement in October of 2016, when the Wii U was on life support in the hospital wing at Nintendo headquarters in Kyoto, a tear-bound Shigeru Miyamoto finally pulled the plug on his underselling console. But in the throes of death, the Wii U's will ejected from its disc slot, a final wish to port over all its hit games to the system's successor for a second chance at life. Overseeing these last words was game producer Takashi Tezuka, taking them literally as just before the Wii U's soul was about to ascend to where all failed hardware goes. He captured the essence of its very best title in a small bottle and began work in secret, interjecting its spirit to develop a sequel to Super Mario Maker. In this review, I'll be going over the big three, as in the three modes that will divide your playtime: course creation, story mode, and online play. Starting with number 1, the main draw, Stage Builder. This concept can be seen as a successor to Nintendo's other DIY software, beginning with Mario Paint on the Super Nintendo, which essentially pulled from every creative computer program and shoved it onto a SNES cartridge. The draw of this application is that it's a massive toolkit for designing your own Mario courses. It's super accessible, so anyone and their great aunt can make courses using assets from the most recognizable games of the plumber's 2D history. Sorry, Game Boy Marios. Oh, wait, no I'm not, they added that too. Welcome back, Super Ball Mario. On the topic of new features, Mario Maker 2 is a testament to this new age of Nintendo seriously listening to their fans. The much requested slopes that were missing in the original were the first showcased aspect of this new game, and according to the cutting room floor, the project's internal name was even called Slope. I love all these new features, and while I'm not going to go through every single one, just know it's a complete package. There's 4 new themes, all with a night variant that changes up environment and physics like bouncing power-ups or jungle waters becoming poisoned. I wasn't exactly psyched up about the new 3D World playstyle, adding course elements not available in the 4 main ones, but I ended up really liking it, and even made a level utilizing its exclusive features. Compared to the other more recent new Super Mario Bros., this one to me seems much more lively and aesthetic. It's the little things, like the clouds visually getting squished down a little bit when Mario walks on them, which is my favorite thing ever. There's a Koopa car included now too, which is pretty neat. I just wish it could have been a Mercedes-Benz like the first Mario Maker. Suppose I'll have to keep holding out for its Smash debut. In seriousness, the only complaint I would have for 3D World is that while some cool things can be done with these unique course parts, the toolkit in general simply doesn't have as much utility as the 4 others, and it's somewhat limiting. But to see me talk more about how I designed a course in this style, check out this video of my created levels so far if you're interested. Getting back to my review though, the next aspect that piqued my interest a ton, and the second major mode, is the single player campaign. Yeah, you heard that right. I'm obsessed with games where including a story mode seems like it'd be the equivalent to putting mushrooms on a cake, but the developers did it anyway. Mario Party? Sports games like more recently with Mario Tennis Aces? Yes please. Not going to lie, I'd probably eat this anyway, don't judge me. Can we also get a Wario and Waluigi cartoon based on Camelot's cutscene animations while we're at it?
Action. Don't expect mouth to mouth.
Anyway, the narrative of this mode focuses on rebuilding Peach's castle after the Undo Dog, now as a fully realized character, hits the reset button. If you think that's a strange premise, you should know that both of the Mario Maker games have this really odd presentation to them. What other series in this universe would grace us with the jankiness that is Weird Mario? That feature was cut in this sequel, but the strangeness continues with a lively cast based on the options in Stage Builder. That's such a Nintendo thing, I love it. My favorite character by far ended up being the Eraser. He acts like a mob boss and tasks you with rubbing out the enemies of a level. In other words, erasing them from existence, and to not talk about it after. That's super dark. He's also hilariously open in moral righteousness, asking Mario if he thinks he's chosen the right path, and offers to erase any negative feelings he's having. So if it's any indication, the writing is on a similar level of quality to the Paper Mario games. That is to say, the script is really good. The jokes are all unexpected and surprisingly unabashed. There's commentary on union jobs with the construction worker Toads afraid of their boss. There's also the jobs listing board with anonymous requests from plenty of off-the-wall folk, which has Mario play the over 100 levels Nintendo themselves made. There didn't really need to be a story reason in receiving money from completing courses, but we're given a unique scenario for each anyway. This chef, for example, left mushrooms out all night and they've become rotten, so if you want the reward, you'll have to outrun them.
Comac.
Going by the alias A Certain Mage, fills his ocean level with fireballs, and now it's too difficult to complete, so he'll pay you to finish it. I was shocked with just how much effort was put into flavor text. I took my time reading through all this, and I'm glad I did. Traversing a hub world that gradually opens up is always fun, and finding new reasons to progress, like helping out the side characters, made for a much more memorable mode than I was anticipating, to the point where it alone is almost worth the price of admission. Hey, do you all remember when Boom Boom was referred to as a mad lad in this Nintendo Direct? That happened. Speaking of the internet, let's move on to the wonderful world of online multiplayer, where Nintendo initially got heat in only allowing for random matchmaking, so the team promised that a future update would support play with friends. Finally, I can play with all my friends. They're not off the burner yet though, because throughout this first month there were a lot of technical issues in playing globally, a 3-letter word called lag. I've played both online co-op and versus mode, though much more of the latter, who wants to work together. And all I can say is, though it is inexcusable how poor the connection can be at times, it's a blast. So I encourage you to play a few rounds and decide if that's worth putting up for on a match-by-match basis. Speaking personally, I would guess 3 to 4 out of 10 matches were always laggy. Rarely it's so bad it'll be a 1 frame per second crawl, which is only funny the first couple of times. Mostly though, it's some annoying stuttering or slowdown enough to be unfair, until the player causing it gives up. I suppose that performance-wise things can only get better from here, when there are less overall players, but Nintendo really needed to dedicate more server space for this. Trying to dismiss the negative though, playing multiplayer yields so many hilarious moments. I love how every match too, regardless of who you're up against, starts out with everybody obnoxiously jumping around, bouncing on heads and throwing each other. Every 3 seconds right before a match is just sheer mayhem and it's great. Since I have so much to share about this mode, I'm making a compilation of my top 10 favorite moments, where I'll also elaborate further, so please look out for that on the main channel in a couple of weeks when it's ready. If competition isn't your thing but you still want to enjoy user-uploaded levels, there are several ways to play them. There's the vanilla option of searching by maker or course, then there's browsing the New tab to help out levels stuck at 0 plays and be the first to clear them, or you could play randomized with the new Endless mode. Depending on the difficulty setting, you'll start with a different number of lives, and reaching milestones like 10 clears on each will net you exclusive outfits for your Mii. It's truly the little things in life. In my opinion and experience, Easy mode is a little too baby's first Mario, with lots of levels that simply allow you to win and rack up the extra lives. Normal mode is my favorite, it's well balanced in challenge with the most consistent level quality, while Expert is pretty fun, but netting 10 wins was enough for me. Let's not even talk about Super Expert. I can't fathom anybody scoring 100 clears on this mode, but there weirdly is a reward for it. And while I won't spoil what that is, let's just say the devs took inspiration from Breath of the Wild's approach in getting an underwhelming prize to the more obsessive completionists. Some of the courses on these tougher difficulties can be a fair challenge worth the play, but I recommend skipping them and going back to play later, because they eat too much into your life counter on Endless. On the topic of quality, the last thing I want to discuss today is the range of level quality you can expect to encounter playing randomized. To me, a user level falls into one of 4 categories, those being great, good to decent, mediocre to bad, and dumpster. A great level has an obvious amount of time put into it, with consideration for the player and lots of attention to detail. It'll be well constructed, looking polished, and generally satisfying to play. A good to decent level is one that's competent. It's playable, looks like it was put together with care, and if it's themed, it has an interesting premise or quirk. Okay to bad is where I stop giving likes. These courses will look and feel sloppily comprised. They may technically function but are ugly. Seriously, with all the pipes that don't connect to anything. This would never exist in a real Mario game. They also may be easily cheesed by skipping over portions of the level. Everyone's seen a cluster of enemies placed with no real thought, for example, or an unfun Bowser fight providing unlimited power-ups with nothing to make it stand out. The really bad stuff though, the bottom of the barrel trash, and what the boo button is for, are the ones that treat the player unfairly. Like a maze of doors where picking the wrong one costs a life. It could also be an angry child's magnum opus of terrible. A Frankenstein mess that physically pains designer Shigefumi Hino to look at. The funny thing about Mario Maker though is sometimes you just have to play one of these awful courses and laugh. It's still fun. Nobody wants to get thwomped without warning in the first couple of seconds. That's just a headache. But understanding the mechanics of these playstyles and using tricks or move techniques to your advantage, it's fun to break poorly implemented levels with huge oversights, or see if you can make it through this disgusting barricade of random enemies. Remember that there's a lot of children playing though, so use your boos and comments wisely. I'm not going to give a review score or anything for this game, but I think it's a must for both creative types and any fan of platforming. If you think designing your own Mario course and playing levels that others have made is cool, it is. And if you had fun with the original, you're likely to love the improvements in this one. Mario Maker is the type of game that gets more satisfying with every hour invested. So keep creating levels you'd like to play, and maybe drop in for a few tutorials to better define your craft, or crap. The pre-constructed stages from Nintendo are a great inspiration, likely to open eyes to a mechanic you didn't consider. So whether you're making, playing, or sifting through all the levels made by the trolls living under the bridge at your apartment complex, just keep in mind that there is an awesome community dedicated to putting out some really quality stuff. I'll be seeing you all online. This is my Maker ID if you're interested in following. That's all I have to share today, but if you like what I do and want to assist me outside of playing my levels so I can get cool me outfits, as of today I have officially launched a Patreon for this channel. I work full-time outside of YouTube, so it's hard upkeeping an upload schedule, but I'm making it work because it's a creative outlet that keeps me going. And if you want to help me grow as a creator, I implore you to check out the page and decide for yourselves whether I'm worth investing in or not. Thanks so much everybody, I'll see you for the next one.